Did you see what just happened? The WNBA MVP ladder dropped and Caitlin Clark's name is nowhere near the top. How is that even possible? The rookie sensation who's been lighting up scoreboards and breaking records all season long is barely getting a mention, but here's where it gets really interesting. A.O. Wilson, the current front runner, might be feeling the heat, because when you stack up the numbers, Clark's value to her team is off the charts. We're about to break down why this snub has basketball fans everywhere up in arms. Let's break down this MVP ladder, because it's causing some serious waves in the WNBA world. At the top, we've got A.O. Wilson sitting pretty at number 1. No surprises there, right? She's been dominating all season. Next up is Nafa Collier, sliding into the second spot, representing the Minnesota Lynx. She controls the game every time she's on the court, making a huge impact. A silent killer, she consistently makes her presence felt. Sabrina Ionescu is holding strong at number 3, though she shouldn't be, with Brianna Stewart and Alyssa Thomas rounding out the top 5. But wait a minute, where's Caitlin Clark? The rookie who's been setting the league on fire is nowhere to be seen in the top 5. Can you believe it? Thomas get head to the honorable mention. They have Caitlin Clark. Wait, how can you relegate her to the honorable mention category? You might be thinking surely this has to be a mistake. But nope, that's exactly how the MVP ladder looks right now. They shared this about Clark on their website. Caitlin Clark, while the Fever underwent understandable woes in the first month of the season, Indiana is 14-6 over their last 20 games, including 2 massive wins. Coming out of the All-Star break, Clark has found a synergy with her teammates and elite comfort on the floor. As a facilitator and creator, she's knocking on the door of first-team All-W and top 5 finish in MVP voting. Did you hear that? Knocking on the door of the first team? I don't think so. Caitlin Clark isn't just knocking, she should already be there. In fact, Caitlin Clark rightfully deserves a spot in the top 3 for MVP, alongside A.O. Wilson and Nafa Collier, and the stats clearly support this claim. Look at their stats. Asia wipes the floor with both of them. The only categories that she doesn't have are assist, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage. Caitlin has all of those. She is tied for steals with Nafisa. Let's be real, A.O. Wilson was exceptional, no doubt about it, but Caitlin Clark, a rookie, outperformed her in key areas like assists, free throw percentages, and 3-point percentages. She even held the assist record. Clark's contributions on the court were undeniable and proved she was anything but ordinary. So what gives? Why is Clark getting snubbed like this? It's got everyone scratching their heads. Some are saying it's because she's a rookie, that the league favors established players. Others argue that individual stats don't tell the whole story. Conversation for sure, she absolutely should be in the conversation. This snub isn't going unnoticed. The controversy is heating up with people like Rachel Dida calling out the WNBA's MVP election process. Dida is saying that every time Clark steps up her game, it seems like the goalposts for recognition get moved. It's like they're setting impossible standards for this rookie, making her work even harder to get the recog she's earned. Goalpost for Caitlin continues to move. It's like the better she does, the further they move their expectations, or what she would need to do to even be like this article says in the top 5. Let's talk about rookie MVPs in the WNBA. You know how many there have been in the league's entire history? Just that's right, in over 25 years, only Candace Parker in 2008 has ever snagged that top spot. It's like there's this unwritten rule that first players can't be the most valuable. But why is it? Because they're too green, not experienced enough? Or is it just plain old veteran bias? Some argue rookies shouldn't be in the MVP conversation, claiming they need time to adjust and prove themselves. But look at what Clark's doing. She's not just playing well for a rookie, she's playing well, period. And Skip Biss explains it perfectly, and nobody in the league can flick logo 3 as effortlessly as Caitlin can. I'm sorry, it's gotten to the point where Rookie of the Year is over. All of a sudden, Caitlin Clark is starting to push Asia Wilson for MVP of this league. And I am not exaggerating, she is starting to push Asia as the best player in the league, because I don't see anybody control a game the way Caitlin can. Let's rewind to Candace Parker. Remember when she did the unthinkable? She didn't just win Rookie of the Year, she also snagged the MVP trophy. It was groundbreaking. Parker was putting up 18.5 points per game, dominating the court like a seasoned pro. Now let's compare her stats with Clark's, and trust me, this will blow your mind. She averaged 18.5 points per game. Caitlin is currently averaging more points than that. Candace has more rebounds by a solid amount, But look at these other stats. Caitlin is averaging more assists, more steals, more three-pointers per game, and a higher free throw percentage. Also, Candace Parker is not a point guard, she's a 4. But here's where it gets crazy. Clark isn't just matching Parker's rookie season, she's setting new benchmarks in some areas. Her all-around game is off the charts. She's not just scoring, she's making her whole team better. And isn't that what an MVP is supposed to do? Caitlin is right there, if not putting up better numbers than Candace did during her rookie season. You might be thinking, okay, the stats are impressive, but there's more to being an MVP than just numbers, right? And you'd be absolutely right. The MVP isn't just about who's got the best stats, it's about impact, leadership, and changing the game. But that's where Clark's story gets even more interesting, because when you look at how she's transformed her team, well, let's just say the numbers only tell part of the story. She's having impact on her team that nobody else in the league is having on her team. This is a team that went 13-27 last year, and suddenly the Indiana Fever are the hottest team by far in the league. So could Clark repeat Parker's feat? Could we see it, another rookie MVP this year? The way she's playing, it's not just possible, it's forcing us to rethink what a rookie can achieve in this league. Are we ready to break down those old barriers and judge players purely on their impact regardless of their experience? Clark's season is making us ask these questions, and the answers could change the WNBA forever. You might be thinking, can one player really transform an entire team? Well, that's exactly what Caitlin Clark did to the Indiana Fever. Before the All-Star break, the Fever were struggling big time, fans were losing hope. But then something incredible happened. The Minnesota Lynx, not as much, and the Fever had 0 players that played for Team USA, and were also the worst team in the WNBA last season. And while after the Olympic break, Caitlin Clark is putting up insane number. Did you catch that after the break the Fever went on an absolute tear, racking up 14 wins and just 6 losses? The same team that was at the bottom of the standing suddenly became one of the hottest squads in the league. What changed? Caitlin Clark. This rookie didn't just score points, she made everyone around her better. The Fever became more dynamic, more confident, and frankly more fun to watch. She took the Indiana Fever to the playoffs, a feat the team hadn't achieved since 2016. Clark's impact goes beyond just the win-loss column. She's changed the way the Fever play, elevating the entire franchise. And when you compare her achievements to those of a team with better players, you start to wonder why she's not second or third in the MVP conversation. Player, I think it is also fair to note that the Aces have a stacked roster. There are 4 women on that team who were on Team USA. It almost seemed like A.A. Wilson wasn't doing much for her squad, especially considering she had several Olympic teammates and big-name players surrounding her. Many times was that A'ja Wilson MVP twice. She won twice. Is it back-to-back? No, she didn't win last year. All right, so being on a good team the way she is, they won back-to-back championships. Yeah, back-to-back championships. Here comes this girl that's doing something different than what she's doing. She don't have none of the pieces that she has. That makes it easier for her to do her job. A'ja can do her job with no pressure, and she can have an off night. And let's put this in perspective. While other teams were maintaining their usual pace, the Fever were busy rewriting their own story. This kind of turnaround doesn't happen by accident. It takes a kind of player to come in and completely change the culture of a team.